Hello everybody, today we're driving a 2021 Tesla Model 3 long range. This is my own car that I got in the summer of 2021, but I'm well past that honeymoon phase, so I'll be able to speak to it somewhat unbiased and critically too, don't worry. If you're looking for a used Model 3, anywhere between 2021 and 2023, those cars will be much the same to what I'm driving here for you today. But of course it wouldn't be Tesla without them making a ton of little iterative changes in that time frame. I'll try to point those out as we go along so that you know what to look for if you're looking for a used Model 3. It should be noted that Tesla is soon to release the Highland refresh of the Model 3 in the United States. That refresh seeks to address some of the complaints or things that can be improved with the car that I'll try to point out in the video as well. The Model 3 long range has two electric motors, one at the front and one at the rear. The front motor is an induction motor. It's good for 184 horsepower and 177 pound-feet of torque, while the rear motor is good for 241 horsepower and 298 pound-feet of torque. It's not super accurate to combine those figures, but if you do, you could estimate around 425 horsepower, and my butt dyno confirms it feels like at least 400 horsepower when you're really getting into the throttle there. The Model 3 long range has an 80 kilowatt hour battery. About 78 kilowatts of that is usable for getting you where you need to go. The EPA rates this, or the EPA did rate it at 350 miles of range when I purchased the car. Since then, they've updated their guidance for testing so that manufacturers are required to run the cycle at higher speeds for a longer time. So if you're looking at the Highland Model 3, that's only rated for 341 miles of range. But as with any electric vehicle, your mileage will vary greatly depending on your own driving habits and the road conditions. Looking at the styling here, we'll start at the front. The theme of this car is aerodynamic efficiency, so that defines the kind of smooth curves that you'll see all throughout the car. There are some more aggressive, sharper body lines that we'll see too, though. The front nose here has a little bit of concavity to it to help push the air to the side of the car. Up here we have a strong crease for the sort of nose of the car here, if you can see that. From that nose, it slopes up to this very smooth hood here. Sorry, I forgot the word for hood. Along the side here from that nose, we have another little body line that flows underneath the headlights there and also slopes down to the fog lights and this functional little aero pass-through that helps to push air around the wheels of the car and improve that coefficient of drag once again. The headlights are well integrated into the front of the bumper and the front quarter panel. There's a little bit of a fold in the headlights here where it meets the quarter panel, and that line extends back to the top of the door here. From this side camera repeater, we have another strong body line that goes along the belt line of the car all the way back. And there's another crease there at the bottom of the door to help provide some visual interest to the side of the car. The A-pillar swoops up gently to the top of the roof, where we have that classic Tesla panoramic glass roof. We'll show you what that looks like inside in a moment. Around the windows of the car, we have black anodized trim. This was one of the major things that they changed with the 2020 refresh. When the car launched, this was originally all silvery chrome. I prefer the black. You might like the chrome. A wrap can fix either one. From the back of the door here, above the door handle, we have another strong body line that extends back to the charge port door right here and the tail lights. This gives it a little bit of a hip, gives the car a little bit of hips, which is nice. That line also ties into the deck lid of the trunk, where there's a little lip for a quasi spoiler here. The taillights are quintessential Tesla with their LED lighting signature there. I've got the dual motor badge to let you know that I've got the long range. If it had a red stripe underneath there, that would indicate the performance model. The bumper has another little line there that helps provide some, I guess, definition to the bumper, so it's not just a flat piece of plastic there on the back. that slopes down to this kind of grayish black plastic quasi rear diffuser there. You can see we've got some reflectors there on the side too. While we're back here, let's open up the trunk and show you what the trunk space is like. There's about 15 cubic feet of trunk space here in the car. That doesn't sound like a lot, but from experience I can tell you it fits a ton of stuff. I've got a grocery bag here and a backpack here for scale. This little sub trunk is also very handy. You could fit about one roller carry-on bag in there. The back seats do fold in a 60-40 fashion if you need to fit longer items in there. Yeah, from experience, this does swallow a lot more cargo than you might think, but obviously your cargo is limited in height by the fact that this is a sedan and you can't pass through taller items. All right, let's get inside and show you around the driver's seat. There's a nice thunk from the door. It's not as solid sounding as some of the German luxury automakers, but about on par with like what you'd expect from Kia or something like that. Most of the materials in here will be plastics, either hard touch or soft touch. There is this thin wood veneer that goes along the door cards, well, the trim on the door cards and the dashboard here. I like that. I don't know. You might not like the wood, but I don't mind it. Obviously, I have a black interior here. Tesla also offers white interiors on all their cars. Well, at least the Model 3 and the Model Y. On the Model S and X, you have a wider variety of options there. If you find a Model 3 with the white interior, this will be just white plastic. So, something to consider there. All of the materials in here that look like they're leather and stitched are in fact vegan leather, so basically glorified vinyl. The seats in the front are nice and comfortable, very squishy. If you like firmer seats, you might not like these, but they fit me well. They keep my butt comfortable, and they have a good bit of bolstering on the side to hold you in. The seats are 8-way power adjustable, so that's good to have, obviously, and the seat memory is linked to your driver profile here, so whenever you get in the car and you press on the brake, it'll adjust the steering wheel and the seat to the position that you like for driving. Right now it's in the easy entry mode, so it's easier for me to get in and out. The steering wheel goes up and the seat goes back and up a little bit, so it's not as low and tight for me to get in the car, which is nice. You can set that easy entry any way you'd like it, your preferred way to ingress and egress the car. I should note actually that the passenger seat, although powered and has 8-way adjustment in my car, will not have the lumbar in any cars made sometime in 2022 where they removed that. Tesla said the analytics showed that nobody used the lumbar support on that seat, so they got rid of it. I don't know why. Continuing the review of the interior, there's this large 15-inch touchscreen that you can't really ignore. Most of the functions of the car are, pretty much all the functions of the car are controlled through this touchscreen, so anything you need is probably behind one or two menus. I won't go through every single menu for you today, but we'll go into some of the drive modes a little bit later. I forgot to mention on the steering wheel, there are 2 scroll wheel buttons. These are pretty much the only tactile inputs on the car if you're not counting these windshield wiper and gear selector stalks. In the Highland Model 3, they do away with the stalks and add some more buttons to the steering wheel. It's up to you if you'll be happy with that or not. Underneath the center screen, we've got a spot for 2 wireless phone charging pads. I'll throw my phone on there and it'll start charging eventually. Below the charging pads, we have this door that slides open to reveal a storage compartment. I got my phone, wallet, keys, well, wallet and keys in there right now, a bunch of stuff. But if I take it out, I can show you kind of how cavernous this is. It's big enough to hold my CCS charging adapter, which I almost dropped, as well as my J772 adapter for level 2 charging elsewhere. Yeah, this tray is just an accessory that I bought to help make the space a little bit more functional and usable. Behind that cubby, we've got these cup holders. This piece doesn't come with the car normally. I added it in there. As you see, this gap is pretty big, and there's no like tongs to hold your cups or bottles in there, so anything smaller like a Red Bull can is liable to move around a lot while you're driving. That's why I got that little accessory there to help keep my bottles and cans and cups more secure while driving so I don't spill. Underneath this armrest, we have another storage cubby. It's not as deep as the one up front, but it is a little bit longer. It's big enough to fit like a gallon Ziploc bag full of coins for parking meters. Anything you want to fit in there, really. The panoramic roof is very nice. It's a little overcast today, but when it's sunny, you get a good bit of sun through there, but it is tinted to help provide a little bit of protection. The headliner is this kind of beigeish white fabric. If your fingers are dirty, it's very easy to stain this, so be careful. Got your sun visors here, little mirror. They do extend out, so Erie and Jakob will give that a pass. Let's go hop in the back seat and show you what the room is like there. There are 35 inches of legroom back here, which should be enough, but if you're taller than me at 5'7" and you've got a driver that's taller than 5'7", it's certainly going to be pretty tight. I'm okay on shoulder room though. There's 54 inches of shoulder room, and there's ample foot space because of that flat floor. It makes it nice so you can stretch out and put your feet out a little bit further if you'd like. Yeah, that's about it for the interior review. I'll get everything situated and we can get out on the road. So to put the car in gear, you use the stock, press up once for reverse. That shows your different parking cameras. The rear camera has trajectory to help you line up with parking spots, which is nice. And then we also have a view of the side repeater cameras to help you see if you're going to hit a curb or something like that. I'll just show you what it looks like backing up a little bit. All good. We'll throw it in drive. Oh, I neglected to show you the different driving modes. Let me do that really quickly. So tons of menus here, won't go through all of them, but under pedals and steering, that's where you get your different driving modes. For acceleration, you have two options, chill and standard. Standard kind of gives you everything the car has. It's more aggressive throttle mapping, and there's less torque smoothing, so you get quicker acceleration, but you also chew through your tires a little bit quicker. Chill does what it sounds like. It dials back the throttle response and adds a little bit more torque smoothing so that you're not accelerating away from stops as quickly and putting a wear and tear on your tires. There's three different steering modes. There's comfort, standard, sport. All these different modes really do is make the steering lighter or heavier. It doesn't provide any more feedback through the wheel or anything like that. I prefer to drive in comfort because I don't see the point in artificially weighting the steering if it doesn't do anything for me. And it's really nice because you can kind of drive with like one finger. It's very easy to turn the wheel. Nice at low speeds in the parking lots, like we'll see in a moment here. These different stopping modes, I believe they're going to get rid of this, but creep acts like a normal internal combustion engine car where when you let off the brake it starts creeping forward. Roll, it doesn't creep, but it doesn't hold the brake when you come to a stop. And then hold is your standard mode that Tesla wants you to drive in. It's basically one pedal driving with full regen. Very, very handy to have. But yeah, I think these modes are going to go away. But we're going to start in chill and comfort, and we'll drive through this parking lot, and I'll give you some impressions of the low speed handling. Let's do a little U-turn here. pretty good turning radius. One thing that Tesla does really well is the low speed tuning of the power delivery and regen blending. It's not herky-jerky. You can start very smoothly and come to a stop very smoothly. I like that a lot. You don't see that all the time in electric cars with one pedal driving. Sometimes it's very hit or miss with that. But yeah, with the steering in comfort, it's a breeze to navigate around these low speed parking lots here. So, the elephant in the room for a Tesla, build quality. There's little things here and there like rattles and creaks that kind of give away that the car could be put together a little bit better. Coming up to this ramp, it'll give me an opportunity to demonstrate something, hopefully. When you get the car turning at certain angles and inclines, you hear something creaking and shifting in the car. Maybe you heard that. I'm pretty sure that's the door shifting in the door frame and not really twisting with the rest of the car, which is not great. That's something that the Highland Model 3 supposedly addressed. Gave the car a little bit more torsional rigidity to help with issues like that kind of convey a lower sense of build quality there. All right, let me finish getting out of this parking lot and you'll rejoin me there on the road. Forgot to mention all the windows are one touch up and down, which is nice. Okay, let's get out of here. Cool. So, pain point 1, handling. I pointed out all those different steering modes and how they don't really do anything except make the steering heavier or lighter. That's not great, but it would be better if the handling was a little bit more communicative. From experience, I know what the front wheels are doing, but somebody coming from another sports car or performance car that's got a better focus on steering and handling might find the steering lacking and not very communicative and not very confidence inspiring. Okay, pain point number 2, suspension. The suspension is very stiff to hold up this very heavy car, but it really impacts the ride quality and makes every road imperfection super noticeable. This is again something that's supposedly addressed with the Highland Model 3, where they've added some passive suspension dampening to help smooth out those issues. So I've complained about suspension, I've complained about handling, so why would anybody buy this car? It's because of this standard acceleration mode. Okay, that was very quickly got up to the speed limit and a little bit more very quickly there. So that's the reason why I personally fell in love with the car. I've got a monkey brain that likes to go fast in straight lines, and this really scratches that itch. The Model 3 long range in the standard acceleration mode is supposed to go 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds, which is really, really, really fast. Like, there's other cars that go faster, obviously. Tons of cars that go faster. But does anybody really need to go that much faster than 4.2 seconds 0 to 60? I don't know. You be the judge of that. If you're responsible enough to have a faster car, by all means do it. But this is plenty fast for me, and I think plenty fast for the average driver. And it's very easy to get addicted to that burst of speed and to get in trouble. So we're going to try to be responsible driving around today. There's some lovely potholes here that we're going to have to go through, so that'll demonstrate the suspension again. All right, green light, go. Yeah, see, with the car in standard, I even scared myself a little bit. It's very jumpy. This person could pick a lane, I'd love it. time for some spirited driving and a little bit of handling demonstration on this on-ramp here. So, being an all-wheel drive car, even though it's rear-wheel biased, it has a tendency to understeer, but if I smash on the throttle a little bit more, it gets a little upset and tries to oversteer. So, it's almost like the front and the back aren't entirely communicating, but it certainly gets the car rotated. Maybe not as nicely as you might like, though. Once up to highway speeds here, we can throw on Tesla's autopilot. This is basically glorified lane keep assist with adaptive cruise control. Tesla puts out updates for this every now and then that make it a little bit more natural and I guess more confidence inspiring with how it handles traffic. But like any driver assistance software, it's not perfect, and you really need to supervise it as the driver to make sure that you're not crashing. Coming up to the end of the freeway here. I haven't used the brake once this whole drive. It's all been one pedal driving. That's something that might take a lot of getting used to for certain drivers. The most jarring thing is not being able to coast, and the fact that the car slows down so much as soon as you let off the accelerator. But you'll get used to it and it'll become second nature to drive with one pedal. Coming up to the end of the test loop here. I didn't really speak to NVH at all. It's fairly quiet. Sometimes you hear a whine from the electric motor, but most of the sounds that you hear are from wind noise, tire noise, and road noise. Again, the suspension doesn't really help reduce that because it's not very well damped, so something to look for in the improved Model 3 Highland. But in summary, this is a great electric car. There's still not many competitors out there that match the value of this car for the money. It's very fast. It's got decent range. I didn't even speak to the charging network or charging speeds at all, but the Tesla supercharger network is still the top dog in the United States. I personally wouldn't get another EV if it wasn't a Tesla. But then again, I don't think I'm going to get another Tesla. Like I mentioned, they're always making those tiny iterative changes, so you could order the car one day, and by the time you take delivery, they could have removed or changed a feature that really sold you on the car. So that's one drawback that I don't like. Another thing that I dislike is the handling and the steering. But it gets you around the corners and gets you where you need to go. And it's supposedly something they're addressing in the Highland. But really, in the end, it feels like this isn't a driver's car. This is a car that wants to drive itself. And we're really not there yet, but we'll get there. But personally, and I'm guessing many other enthusiasts feel the same way, I'd rather have a car that's meant to be driven. Well, anyway, thank you for watching the video this long. If you made it this far, please consider liking and subscribing. It'll really help out the channel. Until next time, I hope you all stay happy and healthy and have a great day.